Sister Wives Janelle Brown considering spiritual divorce from Kody. It will shock you. Janelle Brown appears to be finding peace and closure in her own way following the end of her relationship with Kody Brown. While the couple was never legally married, their union was recognized as a spiritual marriage within their polygamous faith. Now, after officially separating from the patriarch of the Brown family, Janelle is considering whether a spiritual divorce is necessary, though she admits she's already found emotional and spiritual closure in her own way. In a recent episode of Sister Wives, Janelle opened up candidly during a confessional segment, offering fans a deeper look into her personal beliefs and the emotional process she's gone through since parting ways with Kody. Unlike some of her sister wives, Janelle didn't initially see the need for a formal spiritual divorce. However, her thoughts began to shift after watching Meri Brown, another of Kody's former wives, take that step herself. "It didn't even occur to me because I'm really not part of that church anymore," Janelle admitted to producers. Her words highlighted how distant she now feels from the religious structure that once governed much of her life. "And then when Meri got one, I'm like, huh," she added, reflecting on how seeing Meri seek a spiritual divorce prompted her to reevaluate her own circumstances. Janelle, who shares 6 children with Kody, has long been viewed by fans as one of the more independent and pragmatic members of the Brown family. Throughout the series, she's often prioritized stability for her children and personal growth over romantic drama. Her evolving stance on her relationship with Kody seems to align with this practical mindset. When asked about the possibility of a spiritual divorce, Janelle explained that she never felt it was necessary to bring the church into their marital issues. "I didn't feel the need to get a spiritual divorce," she said. "I was at a different spot spiritually. I believe in God, and He was great with me leaving. So the conversation with Him was good enough for me." These powerful words reflect Janelle's confidence in her personal relationship with God and her decision to leave behind the life she once had with Kody. Rather than seeking approval from a religious institution, Janelle found clarity and closure through her own spiritual conversations and reflections. This revelation is especially significant when considering the roots of the Brown family's beliefs. For many years, Kody and his wives followed the tenets of a fundamentalist Mormon sect that practices polygamy. In that tradition, marriages, especially spiritual ones, carry weight beyond legal recognition, often lasting for eternity unless dissolved spiritually. However, in recent years, it's become increasingly clear that Janelle's faith journey has diverged from the path she once followed. She no longer feels tied to the church's expectations, nor does she believe she needs formal permission to move on from a relationship that no longer serves her. Janelle's openness about her current beliefs is striking, particularly in a family that once placed so much emphasis on religious unity. Her shift reflects a broader trend within the Brown family, as several of Kody's former wives, Meri and Christine included, have also taken steps to redefine their identities and priorities after leaving their plural marriage. Christine Brown, for example, chose to publicly announce her split from Kody and has since remarried, embracing a monogamous relationship and a new chapter in her life. Meri, meanwhile, sought a spiritual divorce despite not being legally married to Kody for years, signaling a desire for spiritual closure. Janelle, by contrast, is carving her own path, one that relies less on formalities and more on personal faith and intuition. Fans of Sister Wives have responded positively to Janelle's journey, often praising her for her honesty, strength, and level-headedness. Many admire the way she approaches life with grace and resolve, especially in the face of emotional upheaval. While it remains to be seen whether Janelle will ultimately pursue a formal spiritual divorce, one thing is clear: she's moving forward on her own terms. Free from the expectations of her former religious community and empowered by her relationship with God, Janelle is embracing a new chapter of independence and self-discovery. As the series continues to document the evolving lives of the Brown family, Janelle's story serves as a powerful example of what it means to trust your inner compass, no matter what others may expect. Meri Brown opens up about ending her spiritual marriage to Kody, while Janelle shares her hopes for the future. In a candid and heartfelt conversation, Meri Brown, Kody Brown's first wife, finally opened up about the emotional reasons behind her decision to end their spiritual marriage. Though the couple had legally divorced back in 2014 to allow Kody to marry Robin and adopt her children, Meri had continued to consider their spiritual bond intact, until recently. Speaking from a deeply personal place, Meri shared that while the legal paperwork ended their civil union, the spiritual connection still felt sacred and binding to her. "So when I did the legal divorce, I knew that the spiritual part of it was still valid," Meri said, reflecting on the values and beliefs that shaped their plural marriage. "Because if it wasn't, what was yours? What was Robin's? What was Christine's? I still think it's valid, so I'm like I don't want to offend God." Meri's words conveyed a powerful inner conflict. For her, ending the spiritual marriage wasn't just about letting go of Kody, it was about reconciling her faith and the belief that their bond had meaning beyond earthly commitments. Her struggle wasn't merely emotional but spiritual, deeply tied to her views on eternal family and religious doctrine. Listening intently was Janelle Brown, Kody's second wife, who offered compassion and understanding. The mother of 6, who is no longer in a relationship with Kody either, showed support for Meri's journey and even offered to accompany her to church, an invitation that underscored the sisterly bond that remains despite their shared marital past. Janelle also shared her own thoughts about moving forward. "I'm not dating," she admitted, "but if I found somebody, I would never want there to be like a weird barrier in my head. I've been married for 30 years, and it had validity for me." Her statement reflected both closure and hope, a recognition of what was and what could still be. For Meri, the turning point seemed to come with a moment of humorous honesty that held deeper truth. "I did not want, and I knew that he did not want to be stuck in the eternities with me," she said with a laugh. "And I felt like that's what that was, and so I needed to let that go." This moment of levity revealed a much more serious decision. Meri no longer wanted to be spiritually tethered to someone who did not value the bond in return. Her choice to release that tie was an act of self-respect and spiritual clarity. Both Meri and Janelle have grown in different directions since their splits from Kody, but their willingness to support each other speaks volumes. While their marriages may have ended, their personal growth continues. The conversation not only revealed Meri's emotional strength but also highlighted the quiet resilience of Janelle, who is cautiously open to love again while remaining deeply grounded in her sense of self-worth. In the wake of broken spiritual commitments and shifting family dynamics, both women are finding ways to heal, and perhaps rediscover who they truly are beyond the shadows of their former husband.